Citizens Property Insurance Corporation is supposed to be the insurer of last resort, but tonight Citizens has become the state's largest property insurer with more than 1 million policies.
As investigator Lewis Bolden found, there is a concerted effort now to move property owners back to the private market. Lewis is in studio to tell us what else he found.
Well, Matt and Ginger, property owners used to go to Citizens only when they could not find insurance anywhere else. But more and more people have turned to them because they're the least expensive option. In December, the Florida legislature passed a bill to try and change that, and many are already feeling the pinch.
It's a rich man's deal here.
When John Casaburo opened his latest insurance renewal,
And I don't think it's fair.
he was like many Floridians, smacked with sticker shock.
I was shocked. When I opened the bill, it took me a day to get over it.
His policy went from $1,044 annually in 2021 to $3,287 for renewal in 2023. And it's even more expensive if full payment isn't made.
It's a rich man's deal here. If you could afford the full payment, you're paying less money.
When he realized rates were rising, he thought,
Let me try Citizens. And Citizens steered me away, sent me to 3 popular insurance companies: State Farm, Farm Bureau, Allstate.
even some of Citizens' current policyholders tell News 6 they are feeling the pressure. Citizens is pushing back on me to use private coverage, a viewer wrote to me in an email. They're providing costs for other private coverages and making me have to agree or disagree each time.
Can you explain to people why that's happening?
Michael Peltier is the spokesperson for Citizens.
Give citizens the tool to make sure that we are functioning as the state's insurer of last resort.
Citizens has reached nearly 1.2 million policies. Since they're backed by the state, which means taxpayer-backed, their sweet spot, according to Peltier, is about 400,000 policies. So there is a concerted effort to move property owners to the private market.
And so more and more people are going to experience this, correct?
That's correct, Lewis.
And there are 2 ways it will happen. In December, Florida's legislature passed a bill that in part states if a homeowner can find a policy within 20% of the price of their Citizens policy, they have to take it.
If we find that there is a company within 20% of what a Citizens premium would be, the customer would be ineligible for Citizens.
The next mechanism is called depopulation. Private insurers can apply to the Office of Insurance Regulation to look at Citizens' books to see if there are policies they would like to take out of Citizens' portfolio. That's why the viewer who emailed us was given the option.
If policyholders choose not to respond, those policies will be transferred to the private company automatically.
We're not all millionaires.
Is that how it feels, that you have to be a millionaire to afford property insurance in Florida?
Right now, yeah. My neighbor says the same thing. This skyrocketed.
Now, if you're a Citizens policyholder, pay attention to your email and your account. If you get the notification that a private insurer will take your policy, research exactly what they're offering and make sure it's equivalent to or better than the policy you have with Citizens before you accept or deny it. So that's something people definitely need to be on the lookout for.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's such a convoluted situation. So how many people are we talking about who need to be purged? Is there a specific number who need to just get out of Citizens?
Well, they say their sweet spot is about 400,000 policyholders right now. So that means about 800,000 policyholders need to be purged. So that is a lot.
2/3.
They're 3 times as big as they should be.
Wow.
Isn't that
Purge
something?
suddenly seems very violent. Right. It seems terrible. Lewis, thank you for staying on top of these.